Hi, and welcome to the next drawing exercise. In this drawing exercise, I'm going to be doing a detailed construction of an internal single start right hand square thread. I'm going to be drawing it horizontally. The size of the internal thread is going to be M60, which is going to be 60 millimeters. The outside diameter is going to be 80 millimeters. And the length of the entire thread, which is internal, is going to be 80 millimeters. Right, so first things first, I like to do is I start off with a construction line where it's going to be the center of the thread. Then I'm going to measure out the length of the entire thread, which is going to be 80 millimeters. So I'll mark it off with a point over there on the 0 with the ruler. And then I'm going to mark off the 80 millimeters over here like that. Remember, you must always use your T-square or your mechanical ruler while drawing this. It must be accurate as possible. Now I'm going to line it up over here with the set square, and I'm going to scribe a construction line going up like this. Then I'm going to go to the 80 millimeter point and do the same thing. Now we've got the length of the entire thread. The next thing I'm going to be doing is the outside diameter, which is 80 millimeters. So I'm going to line up the 40 on the set square because half of 80 is 40 millimeters. And then I'm going to mark off the 0 millimeter over here. And then I'm going to mark off the 80 millimeter over here. Then the next step I'm going to do is mark off the internal thread, and the internal thread is M60. So therefore half of 60 is going to be 30. So I'm going to mark off the 0 and I'm going to mark off the 60. Alright, once I've got those markings, all I have to do is line up my T-square or your mechanical ruler, scribe a line across, then go to the next marking, scribe a line across. Then I go to the other ones downstairs over here, line it up, scribe a line across. Over here, and scribe a line across. Right, now the one thing is we also have to work out the pitch. So what is the pitch of this thread? I haven't mentioned it yet, guys, but the pitch is going to be 16 millimeters. And since this is an internal square thread, the pitches are going to be half like that, as it shows you in the textbook, as the square thread terminology shows you. It always works with half pitches. So what I'm going to do now is measure half a pitch this way and then half a pitch from there. So half of 16 is going to be 8 millimeters, and then I'm going to scribe a line across. So I'm going to measure 8 millimeters downstairs over here like this. Okay, and then I'm going to measure 8 millimeters from this over here like this and mark it over there. Be very careful. Make sure you add it up correctly when you're marking off. Alright, so I'm going to scribe a line across like this. Perfect. And I'm going to scribe another line across like this. Construction lines, guys. These are all construction lines that must be faint as possible. Alright, so now that we've done the pitch, half pitch over here, now we're going to do the half pitch going across horizontally because this is a square thread. So I'm going to use this line as a reference, and I'm going to mark off my half pitches, which is 8 millimeters each. So I'll mark off 8 millimeters, and then so forth. 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 64, 72, and I don't have to mark off the 80 because that is all the pitches I need. Once that's done, you can draw construction lines going all the way through the pitch area, like that, and then you go to the next pitch line and do the same. Okay, now that I've marked off my half pitches, I'm going to now draw my solid lines. First things first, I'm going to draw the entire outer diameter and the length of the block. So let me do the horizontal and vertical lines. So there we go. Draw a line up there like that. And then draw another line going up over here like that. There seems to be a bump under the paper, guys. That usually does happen. Okay, and then I'm going to go to this one over here and then draw a line across like that. Okay, so now we've got the outer diameter done. The next thing I'm going to do is the internal thread lines over here. Now this is basically the shape of the thread, and you know it's a square thread, so it's going to be the square castle-like shape. That's what I call it to my students. It doesn't matter where you start, if you start drawing straight over here or there, as long as you keep it the same downstairs. Okay, it must look exactly the same upstairs as it is downstairs over here. Alright, so for this one I'm going to start marking off over here, then I'm going to go down, right, up, right. That's going to take too long, so the best thing is going to draw a straight line, skip, straight line, skip, straight line, skip. I'll show you. Straight line over here, and then you skip that one and do the same for the rest like that. And this is much quicker than trying to do the zigzag way I was mentioning just now. Just do these lines like that and then go downstairs and do the same thing. It must look exactly the same. Okay, now I'm going to do the vertical lines. Right, so what is this in general, guys? This is a right hand internal thread. So you see how my finger's turning inside like that? So external thread, the lines would be going this way for right hand, but because it's internal, they're going to be going this way. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to line up. This is the one point of the thread. This is going to be the crest lines, and it's going to line up over here like that. So what you do is you line up there over here like that, and then you scribe a straight line from there to there. Okay. Alright, now you can do this for everyone like this, but it's going to take you a long time. That is why in the previous videos I like to do this way, guys. Use the set square method. You line it up over here like that, as straight as possible. Okay, and then you line up on each corner like that. Just make sure it's lining up properly, just to double check, and then you scribe your line like that. Perfect. Something was going funny there, and then you just line it up over here like that, and then you just draw your line. Saves a lot of time by doing it this way. Okay, now we're going to be, these are the crest lines, or they say they are the crest lines. Actually, they are the root lines. Now we're going to be doing the crest lines. The crest lines are a little bit awkward, and yes, I will show you how they're going to be drawn. They're actually going to be drawn from here right to where the center line is intersecting over here on the root. So what you do is you get your ruler and you line up like that. Yes, that's how you do it. And you scribe a line from that point up to that corner over there like that. And there we go. Alright. And it's the same for downstairs over here and for here and here. So that's what you do. So you line up over here like that, and you draw a straight line from there to there. Now of course this is going to take a long time if you do this with the ruler, so I suggest you use the set square method that I showed just now and do it that way. So make sure you line it up properly, and always double check with the other ones as well. As I say, you can adjust for accuracy as long as it's within 1 millimeter. Alright, so let's carry on. Okay, so now I've done those little crest lines. The next thing I'm going to do now is basically the sectioning, and that's all that needs to be done, and the center line. Before I run off, let's just get the center line done before we forget. Now normally I like to do the bullet in the middle. Over here like that, just the bullet in the middle. Okay, and then I scribe it straight across like that. This is the problem with these pencils, guys. They're very thin and fragile, and they tend to break very easily. So I have to rub that little mark out the way. There we go. Okay, that didn't do it properly. Do it again. There we go. Draw it nice and properly. Then get the eraser shield, and you can just always fix up that mistake like that. Like that. Didn't mean to knock the camera. and that's the there we go, and that is mostly done. Yeah, it may look like there's a mark there, but if I step 1 meter away I can't see it. Okay, and the only thing I have to do now is the sectioning lines. That looks a little bit short there. Let me make it a little bit longer. And the center lines is basically, the sectioning lines is basically a little bit long there, is 45 degrees. Okay, 45 degrees, and then you get your 45 degree set square. You line it up over here. Now, as I say, this is an internal thread. I'm going to be using 5 millimeters as my distance between the section lines. So let me just start doing it like that. 45 degrees, guys. 5 millimeters. Scribe line across. Now stay within the outside the threads, and do not draw any lines inside the thread. And that is how you do an internal right hand screw thread. I hope you enjoyed the lesson, and I hope you have a pleasant day further.